Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. I said I would be back with a little bit of a comparison with some inks I recently received, and here I am. So we'll start with the first three. We have Monteverde Pumpkin Cake, Diamine Ancient Copper, and Monteverde Copper Noir. This is the one I recently received from Marcy at Marcy Me. She was kind enough to share with me, and I thought it would really be kind of fun to see this ink and this ink together. So I have done another swatch of those. It's always kind of debatable or an iffy thing on how the inks I feel like are going to show up via the phone or the camera, or whatever you want to call it. So I will describe to you what I'm seeing, and that's that the Ancient Copper is a little deeper in color than the Copper Noir. They're both very pleasant to write with. I've generally had really good luck with my pen and ink combinations with Diamine and Monteverde. But if you'll notice, this one has this darker shading to it, almost like a brown color coming through, and the Ancient Copper does have a coppery sheen to it. The lettering here shows some shading, and there is some shading as well in the printing here. I'm not picking up on it quite as much with the cursive. And then the Monteverde Pumpkin Cake, I actually use my dip pen for that, and that just seemed to go on much darker. So I thought it'd be fun. We're gonna play a little game. Here are the chromatographies of these three inks. So they're in random order, and you're going to, if you want to, you're gonna guess which goes with which swatch. So I'll put them down closer, and let's see. So let me pull off the first one here. I wonder if you guessed this one. This one is number 3. This is the Copper Noir, and that was kind of interesting, but I always feel like when you see the chromatography next to the swatch that it really does make sense. I'm not sure if I would have picked that out. I think I might have, because I just sense more of a gray there. And to me, this looks so much more red. Or maybe just like a deeper rust color. So these are the other two. So this one was the middle one, and this is actually this one. And I do feel like that is pretty obvious. This shading color up at the top of the little test strip really resonates with that, rightly so, because it is the same ink. But just to see them side by side is so interesting to me. You wouldn't guess that there was pink in here or a mauve, but when you see that next to that, it's like, well, of course that goes together. And then of course, we don't need to even guess, but this last one is the chromatography for Diamine's Ancient Copper. And I also feel like once you see that together, it does seem obvious. When I see them all next to the swatches, this one's bugging me though. I'm like, yeah, of course. But again, since I did it, I know which one went with which. I think I would have been able to guess, but I am surprised at the amount of mauve here. And I do love this coppery sheen, and just how it gets that edge there. That's really cool to me. So I have done the same thing with the other two colors. Hang on, they're stuck together here. I tape is coming apart. Okay, let's look at those. So this is the one I already had, Jade Noir. This is a Monteverde ink, and I have really enjoyed this ink. I have not had trouble with this ink at all. Here I have a TWSBI 1.1 stub nib, and here I just use my Wankai dip pen. Then I put it in my, what did I put it in? I put it in my Leonardo. And a sad thing there is I did something to the nib when I was trying to put the lid back on. So I'm going to a pen show this weekend, and I'm going to get that fixed. I already have an appointment with one of the nib repair booths that are going to be there. But that was a real bummer because it was a really nice combination. But look how much darker. I hope this is showing up accurately. When I look through my phone, I mean, it looks like black. To see it in person, it's like the deepest green ever, and there's a bit of a sheen going on there. And then the Jade Noir has a, I would call it a reddish sheen. Maybe it's showing up. You might be familiar with these inks. They're very similar in writing. I guess a fun test would be is to put the green black by Diamine in a stub nib and see how the writing compares. But even just looking at these two, it seems so similar to me. But I am really liking that. I just love that deep, deep shade. Let me set these on here. Take a look at those and tell me what you think, or think what you think, and imagine that I can hear you saying. I was rather surprised by this. I really even had to retest it. But this one goes here. And when I say retest, it's not that I didn't believe the chromatography, but I had stepped away from my samples and I was re-guessing, second-guessing myself on if I had marked them properly. And sure enough, surprising to me, this goes with this because of the brown. This is so much deeper of a green. This is very deep, but this is very much more black undertoned, and this, there's so much purple and just a little bit of green and a turquoisey blue at the top. Probably harder to see now that I've put the tape on. But that was a very interesting result to me, and I will be putting it in another pen again really soon. So that's all, just to update, just that little comparison. Hope that was interesting to you, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.